After completing the 4 seasons of reconciliation course, I feel like that I have developed a more comprehensive understanding of reconciliation within the context of the past, the present, and the future. And for me, this program is really helpful to deepen our historical understanding and expanding our indigenous truths. And this also conveys an impactful message, especially to those who are non-indigenous groups, such as us, international students, and other group of people in our community who don't have knowledge about the indigenous history. And through this platform, truths will also be conveyed and to every sector of our society. And it could be a catalyst in establishing a better life for to the indigenous community and our country at large. The 4 seasons of reconciliation also plays a vital role in achieving the goals of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and that is to investigate the unnecessary decrees formed by the past government for the purpose of assimilation, forced conformity to the decrees which caused disposition of cultural and individual identities. An example of this is a clear violation of freedom to speech and human rights, and also to investigate all the criminal acts done, especially that is in the residential schools, which we have seen in the video. Indigenous stories have to be told, and victims have to be heard, and justice must be served. And um, we all desire for a peaceful, equitable, progressive, and reconciled Canadian society. And ultimately, this can only be achieved by the recognition of our mistakes in the past, knowing and accepting the truths, and having the foundational knowledge and understanding of this dark past may lead us to echo the truth to others and be part of the reconciliation process. This small but essential action will help dismantle stigma and stereotype against the indigenous group, and this could also bring about peace and healing from the trauma and injustices, giving them equal opportunities to reestablish themselves, making them valuable and contributing members of our society.
My learnings and insights that I had after this workshop and course of decolonizations, as well as after watching the 4 seasons of reconciliations. It is important to learn about the historical injustice faced by indigenous people, the importance of acknowledging and confronting past wrongdoings, and the pathways toward building meaningful relationships and promoting social justice and reconciliation, especially here in Canada. By embracing the teachings of the 4 seasons, individuals and organizations can contribute to create a more inclusive, equitable, and respectful society for all. Um, about decolonizations, especially the indigenous in their workplace. It is a multi-phase process that requires addressing historical injustice, acknowledging indigenous perspective, and promoting cultural competency. It's not just because they're indigenous. We just we need to be biased. It should be more on learning their competencies and abilities. Non-indigent or whatever culture you have, we should have those fair and just treatment for everyone. That's all. Thank you.
My learnings and insights in the 4 season reconciliation course represents a historic path towards understanding and healing in Canada. As the course recognizes the rich history and cultural legacy of Indigenous people, it creates a foundation for meaningful restoration. In acknowledging the inherent rights and contribution of Indigenous people to the Canadian society, it highlights the significance of fostering respectful, relationships between indigenous and non-indigenous communities. People are given the tools to actively engage in the continuous process of reconciliation, advancing in social justice, and building a more inclusive country through advocacy and education.
International student, among the countless experiences and challenges I encountered, one topic that has impacted me is the concept of reconciliation between indigenous and non-indigenous peoples in this country. Reflecting on the workshop Four Seasons of Reconciliation, I have to confront uncomfortable truths and challenge my perspectives about the complex issues facing indigenous communities. Initially, my understanding of reconciliation was limited. Coming from a different cultural context, I lacked the knowledge and awareness needed to fully understand the historical injustices and ongoing struggles experienced by Indigenous peoples in Canada. However, as I understood the topic through this course and the workshop, my perspectives began to shift. The lessons of Four Seasons of Reconciliation reverberate deeply with me. They highlight the recurring nature of the reconciliation process, emphasizing that true healing and understanding cannot be achieved overnight. Just as the changing seasons mark the passage of time, reconciliation demands patience, perseverance, and a commitment to ongoing dialogue and collective action. This perspective has instilled me the importance of humility and empathy towards indigenous communities. Watching the documentary Third World Canada was a reflective experience. It exposed me to the harsh realities faced by many indigenous communities, including poverty, inadequate housing, and systematic discrimination. As an international student, I was struck by the parallels between the struggles of Indigenous peoples in Canada and marginalized communities in my own country. It emphasized interconnectedness of social justice issues on global scale and the urgent need of solidarity and collective action. In conclusion, the Four Seasons of Reconciliation workshop has been both enlightening and challenging. It has widened my understanding of colonialism and its ongoing impact on indigenous communities, while also inspiring me to take meaningful action towards positive change. As I continue my studies and life here in Canada, I am committed to encouraging mutual respect, understanding, and solidarity with Indigenous peoples, recognizing that true reconciliation is a journey that we must all